Hello and welcome. It is day number 292 of 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. I am so pleased to brag about my friend today and service hero. Now, let me just tell you, she is usually they can be a little humble about this, but in my mind, she's a double hero. She's a service hero, but she is a veteran, and she has served our fine country in the military, and she's done a lot more than that. Bennie Jean Muliere. Did I say that right?
Yes.
She is someone that I met a while ago because we both come from the nonprofit world, and she's doing some pretty darn exciting things. And she just told me that she's on cloud nine, and we're gonna be playing in the clouds a bit because she just got back from an amazing event. So, welcome, Bennie Jean.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here anyway. So, um, and I was happy to hear from you because, we both stay so busy all the time. It's unfortunate that we don't get together more.
I agree. 100%. And so, see, what's nice about digital medium is that it feels like we're together right now. And we've done these a lot over the years because both of us kind of grew up in the very beginning of in the Power of Purpose with Sherry Watson and Derek and Erica and the whole gang. And we got trained, if you will, in one version of social media and getting on Zoom, right?
Yes, Zoom.
And so why don't we talk about what it is that you're doing? First of all, let's let everybody know what your nonprofit is. Do you want to introduce it?
I do. Our nonprofit is Service Dogs of New Mexico. And I can tell you that this happened truly by accident. And I was working with another girl who got very ill, and she kept saying, "You need to do this, you need to do this." And I go, "What?" And we started exactly 3 years ago, and it's absolutely been amazing. I have a wonderful staff. I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And anybody that thinks a nonprofit is not a business, you got to think again because it's definitely run like a business. And so
Exactly.
what we've been doing though, we started off with veterans training service dogs with their veteran, and then I started getting calls from people that had children that needed help, and then adults that weren't veterans. So here we go. We are now working with veterans, we work with adults, and we work with children with disabilities. I mean, how amazing is that? Every day I get to do this.
And you have on your property, and I remember when I first started checking this out because I was still trying to find my way with the nonprofit, and
Mm-hmm.
because you're a little further ahead than I am.
Oh no,
And
I think we're all just still starting off.
yeah, okay, that's fair. I absolutely. However, I remember because I, I was thinking, man, you're a superstar. You were you have your property there, and you do your
Right,
training of the animals to work with their humans,
right.
and you have trainers there to prepare these animals for their assignments. And I remember you were saying how you could get a lot more going if you had this walkway. Remember that? And
Oh
so
yeah.
and so you were talking, and then all of a sudden we were on the Zoom, and within 24, 48, 72 hours, you had people calling you, you had these resources being donated to you on your property, and you had that walkway being poured, didn't you?
And I have to tell you, there's one person that always stands out in my mind and my heart, and that's Erica Beach. I'm telling you, that woman she's on my board. And even though we're not so active with Power of Purpose anymore, and I would love to be, it, the time that it takes to do what we
Right.
do consumes. I mean,
Right.
every minute of my life, because I actually went to the VWise conference this year in Atlanta. That's veteran women in an entrepreneurial situation. It was amazing. And then 2 weeks later, we go to one of my trainers and I went to the Association of Assistance Dog Providers to Military Veterans. And we were there for 4 days. And my head is, I still can't even think straight because some of the heads of that particular organization went to Congress because we were in DC, and they met with Congress about the PAWS Act, which is, placing animals with veterans. And that is so amazing because the biggest issue that we run into is fake service dogs. And so what we've done, we have created another smaller outreach. It's called ADA Service Dog Business Training, and we go to different businesses and train them about their responsibilities, but also the rights and the responsibilities of people with service dogs. It is very distressing. I'm telling you right now that a poodle in dyed pink with a dress on is not a service dog. And we run
Right.
into this, and that's why this has been really amazing since we can now go out and start teaching. And that's really what I want to do. I'm an educator. I feel like that this is a very new niche. Even though it's been around for several years, it's still new. And a lot of people do take advantage of it. It's very sad when you have real people with real disabilities that are, it really hurts us when we
Right.
have, it takes 6 months to 2 and 3 years to train a service dog for someone that has a very specific disability. And I'm very proud that we get almost all of our dogs from rescue. And we actually on contract with Animal Humane. But I have trainers that they have every level of certification. They're absolutely fit for this job. And we have, oh my goodness! In fact, I can show you my board here. Just if you can even see it, this is my
Yes.
whiteboard, and
Oh,
these
yeah,
are
yeah. I live with one of those too, or a few of them
yeah,
actually.
I've got them all over. I've got one for veterans, one for kids, one for adults, and I have my calendar. And we have a spot on KRQE TV once a month, and that's really amazing. They've been very supportive of us. I just can't tell you how, sometimes I feel like, oh my goodness, I don't have a life. It's like I work 24 hours a
Yeah.
day. But at the same time, when I see these kids with a dog and I see the change in their life, I see veterans that haven't been out of their home in a year except to go to the VA. And all of a
Right.
sudden, they're like, out in public, they're going, oh, yeah. And by the way, my dog is a chick magnet. It's so cute. So I just feel like we've made such progress in
Right.
this short time because we started off just tiny, tiny. And I was doing everything here, and now we have two training locations where we train. It's amazing. And my trainers take people into public because that's where they're going to be. That's what they're going to face. These are the issues they're going to run into. And they're all amazing with my people. I am so proud.
And you should be, and it doesn't surprise me at all, because I remember when, I think I knew you when you were more in that smaller stage, if you will. And I
Oh, yeah.
remember that you were excited that you were getting the new building that was going to either be built or retrofitted or something
Mm-hmm.
that was having to do with that, and that what the plans were to go forward. I mean, because you've had them
Absolutely.
all along. And the thing that I remember too, that I had no idea, and I have always looked at restaurants that allow, if you will, dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it's very different if you have a service dog with you to go to the
Right.
restaurant.
Right.
And you educate, like you said, you love to educate, and you actually will go out to your community, to these business owners, and you educate them if you see that they are not handling that correctly,
Well, I
right?
give you a good example. We have the tram here, which is amazing. And so they have hundreds of thousands of visitors every summer. And one of their biggest issues was people wanting to bring their dogs. And I understand that because they're traveling, they want to do the tram, and they have their dog. But it's not legal for you to take a pet in a business like that. So we went and did, we did an educational seminar for them, And what's so amazing is, they get a patch to put on their door. It's a sticker, and it says this business has been trained in service dogs. So that really keeps a lot of people out. And then we encourage them to get kennels, to put kennels there where the people could leave their dogs in the kennel while, because you can't leave them in a hot car. So
No.
that's really worked out well. It worked out so well that my daughter was here visiting, and we were going to ride the tram, and there were like 2 hour long wait, and the guy was counting off people, and he saw me and he goes, "Oh, I know you, hold on." And he came and he brought us to the front. He gave us free tickets. We got to ride the tram. So it is so amazing how people are starting to understand the importance of what we do, and that's really what matters to me. With being a veteran, and I did serve, and I have 100% disability. I'll be real honest with you. I have a traumatic brain injury. I have PTSD, and I had some physical injuries as well. So I think that makes us a little bit more qualified than if you just started a business. I want to train service dogs, because you've got to have that empathy. You've got to have compassion, and you've also got to have the knowledge to work with them, because they're not the easiest people to work with. They might have a panic attack, that I know from personal experience. And so we are very blessed that we've been able to bring people in, that we have a true passion for what we do, but we also have a background in what we do. All
Right.
my trainers have children, and so we're wonderfully working with kids. We placed a dog with a little girl at the Presbyterian Cancer Hospital. How amazing was that? We've got dogs in school with kids. It changes your life, and this
Mhm.
is. I really know that what I'm doing. Sometimes you feel like giving up because it's a lot, and
Right.
I haven't been on vacation in 3 years. I don't even know what that is. I've got an RV sitting out there going, "Come, come," and I go, "I can't, I can't." Um,
And
but
that's new. That's new for you, right? Because I mean, in your past, you used to go a lot around places, and we'll talk about it in a moment. But you
yeah,
were just to say that you haven't been on a vacation, and that it's calling for
no.
you. And so what I wanted to do was to transition into your past. Yes, you served,
Yes,
and before that, though, was it? It was before, right? That you were
yeah.
involved in rodeo.
Yeah, big time. This was my life, because I grew up in Atlanta, where all girls go to finishing school, and if you don't become a model, you get married and have kids. And I became a model. That's what my mom wanted for me, and that's what she was. So, but it didn't fill my heart. It didn't serve. I just wanted to be a cowgirl. In fact, I thought Roy Rogers and Dale Evans were my real parents, and I was really disappointed to find out they weren't. It was crazy. But I did. I mean, I got my first horse, and I never stopped. It was the most I got to live my dream, and I'm so grateful that I've taken risk in my life. Starting this business was a risk. My
Yeah,
horses, I had never even done anything but ride one around the circle for 25 cents, and but I knew that was in my heart, and I was
mhm,
able to do it, and I was succeeded. I really did well, but I was happy. I
right,
was so happy. And I think that that's what life is. Every day you wake up and you go, "Who am I want to be today?"
right.
I want to be somebody that's happy and that sends out those pulses, those waves, like dropping a pebble in a pond. I know sometimes my pebbles haven't been the greatest, but I really know that when you're doing what you love to do, it 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 touches everybody around you. Like what we do now. My trainers. I have people call me all the time and say, "Oh, I saw one of your dogs at the mall, or I saw one of your team so and so." And I'm so impressed. And my pit bull is my service dog.
Right.
And she's amazing. So we've actually placed several pit bulls that are amazing service dogs. We don't, any breed, any dog, as long as they have the desire and the intelligence and the want to do it. That's my baby right there, that little
Uh-huh.
big fat girl. Yeah. And, but yeah, she changed my life, because I've always had horses, and I don't have horses now. My granddaughter went to college on a rodeo scholarship, talked me out of all my horses, and I'm glad. She's actually, my granddaughter's in the military now.
Right.
And, she kind of followed after me because um, she's in the Patriot Missile Project. And isn't
Oh,
that wonderful to know that you've made a difference in somebody's life, period? So I'm
yeah.
pretty happy right now.
I can tell. And we've been, we've gone now, we've been in each other's life for a while.
Yeah.
And I remember you talking about your granddaughter
Yes.
and the story of her in the rodeo. And I remember when she was just going into the military. She had
Yep.
just signed up. And I remember
Hmm.
that. And you were so proud of her and you were so excited for her. And now to hear that, wow, she's in the, that's pretty big what she's doing,
I know it's big to her too, and she's at Fort Hood, so she still helps at the ranch because she's like about 3 hours away. And yeah, so her mom and dad have a big ranch in Texas, and she's still involved in that as well. So that's what I think is our purpose. If I had a purpose, it would be to make a difference in life on the planet, period. I know that we're helping animals, well, dogs specifically, and the people that get I've got veterans, I'm telling you, they haven't been out of the house, they haven't had a life. And one of my veterans just got his service dog, and he sent me pictures, and it would make you weep. They're so beautiful. His
oh.
dog is just wrapped around him, and he said, I feel I feel safe. I feel
Mhm.
safe.
I remember a story that you had shared about, and I think you were using it as also as a learning opportunity,
Mhm.
and that was that there's quite a few of our military veterans and the people that do come home from service that end up with cabinets fulls of prescription drugs,
Oh, yeah, I know.
and
Oh, I know what you're talking about because I said dogs, not drugs.
yes,
That's
yes,
become my motto because you're right. And I'm a veteran. I go to the VA, and God bless them. They've been really good to me because remember how crippled I was for a while?
I
I finally
do
had
remember.
surgery, had a hip replacement. Yay. It was from a hang gliding accident, though. So they've been amazing to me. I mean, the VA has been wonderful, but I know that the one thing is they do, it's like across the board, here's your pill, here's your meds. And we're trying to get away from that. And I do get referrals from the VA, from therapists, from psychotherapists, from medical doctors, sending us clients that are finally starting to kick in. Maybe we're over medicating our people because I always do home visits, and I go to the house. I'll say, let me look in your bathroom. I'm real nosy. I want to see what you're taking. And, I see that gradually that changes. It's like the oxycodone, like, all the gabapentin, all those, they have such bad side effects. But our men are coming, and women too, are coming home broken. And
Yeah.
it's our responsibility as a country to take care of them in the best, most loving, compassionate way possible. And you've heard me say this before, hundreds of thousands of dogs being euthanized every day.
Yes, yes,
Every day. And
yes.
it's terrifying to me because I'm such an animal lover. And then I have my veterans. It used to be 22 veterans a day. That's old news. We're looking at 30 to 40 veterans a day committing suicide. And so if I can piece together that veteran and that dog, it's a win-win for everybody because
Yeah.
they're going back into the community. They're being, their families are changing because now they're inclusive. It's amazing. So the whole state benefits. They benefit from, I've got guys going back to work, and they're taking their dogs with them. How amazing is that?
That
Of
is
course,
wonderful.
I work at home, so my dog is with me all the time. And but this is what I think is amazing. Uh, I used to, when I did rescue, I tried to rescue everybody and everything, and I finally realized you can't do that. I had to be very specific and what my goal was, and we're on it. We really are it. And sometimes it's hard because I have people that you have to have a very hard talk with. and I was wanting to love everybody, but sometimes that's the way it has to be. And because I know what they've been through, I have a sense of the desperation and of the loneliness and the isolation they feel. And but I'm telling you, I can put a dog with somebody, and then next time I see them, it's like, oh hey, give me a hug. It's like, whoa, this is not the same person I met. So I'm happy about that.
And you should be. And I will say this too, and this is one of the things I draw strength from, and that is that I remember there was a time that we've all been there. We've been there maybe once or twice or a few times where you weren't quite sure if you were going to be able to keep going forward because of the time and just where it was and how it was going. And when you're starting anything, a business of any type, it's exhausting, and it's exhausting of your resources, of just about every type of resource that you could even think of. And there was a period of time that you had a bit of a crisis of faith, right?
I did. Because I felt like I had put so much into it, and everything that you could do wrong, I did it. I made so many mistakes. I just cannot even tell you, because I think I let my passion overload my common sense. And then I started seeing that the speed bumps that I put in my own way, we were able to, and I still, there's still things we have to recover from all the time. And especially because we're in the public eye.
Right.
This lady that works in the Attorney General's office called me after she saw us on TV with a lot of hard questions for me. And I had to really dig deep and be very honest about, where we're going with this, and how we're going to make this work. Because, we got a great grant. It was for 1 year. And after that year, you still have to start thinking about, okay, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? Yeah, that was it. And
Yeah, I mean, I saw it, and I'm like,
yeah.
and we'll go to that story, but I just want to stop since I did show this, and you continue your story, and then we'll go to what I was going to bring up.
Well,
So
no, that's all I was going to say, is that we trip and stumble a lot, and then we have something really good happen, and that gives you the momentum and the impetus to continue going. Because even though these grants are only for a year, they're not a continuing thing, and you still have to think, okay, am I willing to continue to do this? Why, yes, I am. So we just
yeah.
come up with different avenues, different ideas, and how to go from that. And I'm very supportive of the Wounded Warriors program. I do a lot of work with them, and that's been amazing, because that's just right up my alley with what I want to educate people as to our military, what they've gone through, what they're coming home to, and how we can help them, and how we can make this whole planet. Because you can't do one good thing and not have it affect everything, and that's what we're trying to do here. So it gives us opportunities to reach out and to find more ways to fund our program, and that's what we're doing now.
So, and where I was going to go with this, and because I did not know you had gotten the grant, and I was going over because I have a list of everybody that I have been wanting to have on the show, and now I'm almost into the 300s, and it's like, okay, either I start having everybody on the show now, or I go into a second season. So that's a whole nother 365 days.
Gotcha.
And so, and you were on that list, and a few of our other friends are still on the list. So I started contacting, and in fact, one that's here on this picture too, Ginger. And I remember when we were in Vegas, I think, is when we did the grant writing exercises. Well, we've done other grant writing exercises in our organization, and as we were being kind of like brought up through the baby steps of really what is a nonprofit and how do you run a nonprofit corporation as a corporation. And when I saw this, and I thought, okay, this makes a lot of sense. Now, I did not know it was only 1 year. I know that you can go
Right.
for 1 years, and that sometimes they're 3 years,
Hmm.
and there's different things. Now, is this one that you got one that you can reapply, and will it be available, or was it a one time only?
It was a one time only, but we can reapply. I know that they've had a lot of funding cuts with the DOD. And so, this was 1 year, and they've told us to continue to, send in the next grant for the next year, which won't be the coming year, but it'll be the next year. And,
Okay.
so, we were just so grateful to get that because it actually allowed us to bring more trainers on. It allowed us to bring 20 more veterans in. And, we're able to then, with a grant, you're able to really, really, really support your veterans.
Right.
I have veterans that coming from Farmington, Aztec, different cities up north of here, and I have a trainer that goes there every week and trains all them instead of them having to come here. So we've gotten a lot of really good processes and programs going. I'm very proud of it. And then what we do is we just reach out and just go on from there. Because with a grant, you have to spend it all at a certain period. You can't just let it go and, oh, I'm going to put this money back so next year I'll have that. No, you have to spend it, or they don't like you very much. So,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right. Then you're put in the naughty column, the not even
exact. Oh,
naughty.
absolutely. The naughty files. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're there's a lot of other grants out there that I have a couple of grant writers that are working with me that have volunteered, and they're amazing. In fact, one of them is one of our clients. We trained her hearing loss dog. Now,
Oh,
is that amazing? And
I love it. I
yeah,
love
so
it. That's a full circle.
I know, I
I
know
love
that. I mean, it's like it's like we have a tribe here. And I have my head trainer is absolutely amazing. She just had a baby, and she comes here and does a lot of work at home. Thank goodness, because that works so well for me. But she brings her baby here, and my 100-pound pit bull babysits her baby while she's here. It's just crazy. So we've been able to really help each other, to support each other, because it's a lot of work. I mean, my trainers, they're just covered up, and we just opened a new facility. It'll be open August the 23rd. It's a huge facility, and we'll be training there and in Corrales, which is kind of on the other side of Albuquerque, and then we have one in downtown. So it's worked really well that we've been able to expand and bring more people in, bring more the trainers we bring in they have certifications that even scare me. So I'm very proud of the work they're doing.
Right. Right. Well, that's one thing that I will say, that when I first started getting to know you, that was one of the take homes that came to me, was that you were truly about, you rather just close the doors than do it the right, you were going to do
Oh,
it the right way or not do it at all.
absolutely.
That there's no compromise. And that's, I
But
believe.
that's almost scary because I can look back and see. Yeah, listen, I was so much of a newbie. I had been on horses for so long. I worked for IBM for 10 years. When I walked out the door, I shut that behind me. I just wanted to be a cowgirl. So for all these years, I've been working on ranches and training horses. And all of a sudden, here this comes. I
Right.
had nothing. I didn't know a thing. And I even paid for an EIN number. I mean, serious. So, I was just trying to look for things on the internet. I
Right.
got
Right.
Sherry's book. I looked through that. That really helped me immensely. And
Right.
that's even before I got to know them. So, yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes with, not vetting my trainers well enough. And I mean, I freely admit that because I want to help people in their
Right.
process to don't do the same things that I did, because that's a lesson. That's the value you can't get from anybody else, is to find somebody that's made a lot of mistakes, but they're still successful.
Right. Exactly. Well, and that's one of the reasons that I really just treasure you too, because you're honest, and
Yeah.
what you see is what you get. You just don't
Yeah.
have time for anything else.
Nope.
And And neither do I. And I was actually having this discussion with someone else that I was on the phone with before I came
Mm-hmm.
on with you, and that is, you have to be willing to say my bad. you
Oh,
know that I had the best of intentions. I really thought I was doing this the right way. However,
hmm,
this is what I've learned from it, and then
absolutely.
you go forward, and you have to be willing to say, okay. And I think that being open and honest and transparent, especially if you're going to be in the public eye, you need to be able to say, okay, this is where I am right now. And yes, I have been able to be successful. I do have amazing trainers that come to me. I do
Yep.
have success with being able to save dogs that are going to be euthanized.
Hmm.
And then not only that, train them so they're not just getting the little puppy skirt, but they are actually, they're
Yeah.
actually doing something that matters.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you explain to me, and you also would share videos with us, and you would share and you'd show how, okay, now this dog is being trained for this type of an
Right.
issue. Now we train for each different issue. Now
Right.
watch what's going on. And I would watch it intently, like, oh, wow, I would never have maybe thought of that. However, and things like opening up the refrigerator, having
Hmm.
that the item on the door to be able to have the dog know to
Yeah.
open up the refrigerator, to put the items from the grocery store into the
Oh, I
refrigerator.
know.
And I'm
Well,
thinking,
it's funny because I have I go to watch some of the trainings and I kind of just am a fly on the wall, and I'm so amazed at what these dogs do. We have a dog. We had just been. I didn't. I'm not a trainer. I could not be a trainer, and they kicked me out of picking dogs because I did not want them all. But we actually trained one of our veterans has hearing loss, and his dog is trained to answer the phone, take it to him, turn lights off and on. I mean, I'm just sitting there going, you got to be kidding me. I mean, some of these dogs, the things they do are so almost beyond your imagination. But it enables these people to have a life. But you're talking about a while ago. I have no filter whatsoever. People know if they ask me a question, if they're talking to me. I had a guy come here in a wheelchair, and when I did the home visit, I didn't know he had fake legs. And I go, you don't have any legs. What happened? And he just laughed because he said, it's funny because most people would never ask me because they're embarrassed or they're afraid to hurt my feelings. He said, no, this is what happened to me. And he was so outward about it. And my girlfriend told me on the way home, she said, I can't believe you actually asked that guy, oh my God, you don't have any legs. Just like I thought you did. So, people know when you're authentic
yeah,
and
yeah,
you really have that care and that
yeah,
compassion, but you also have to be really strong too, because
right,
we see a lot of things that are heartbreaking, and
yeah,
we work through them, we work with them, but it's not easy. I have a World War II veteran. He's 92. We're going to place a companion dog with him, and when I hear him, what he's going through, and he's very lonely, and it breaks my heart. But we're going to handle that. We're going to take care of it. We're going to give him something
right.
that will take away that loneliness, to help him take a walk in his neighborhood, and that just makes him, kind of washes out all the other stuff that's happened. It really does.
Right. And I hear you, and I think that anybody that's watching this right now that has either a purpose-driven for-profit company or a nonprofit is totally hearing you completely, because it is, you do start because it is something that's a passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's possibly inspired from a life experience. Whatever, we know a lot of these individuals, they're our friends, and and each story is different, yet they are somewhat alike in that there is a heart that is involved
Yes.
one way. It's not just a cold hard numbers and this makes sense, pen and paper, and this is going to be great to the bottom line.
No,
Though,
because yeah, and if you're in it for the money, you might as well get out now. I'm just telling you, it's
right,
blood, sweat, tears, and I mean, I have put all my savings into this. But every time I see one of these kids that can't go out of the house, they have social anxiety, and they're in school with their dog, and they're going, "He has a service dog." I mean, that just takes everything and puts it in different perspective.
Right. Right.
And because
Right.
we're not
Exactly.
selling anything, we don't sell anything. So I have a lot of times have these people call me. They go, "We can tell you how to get more clients," and I go, "I don't need more clients. That's
No.
not
Yeah.
the issue here. It's having to take care of the many that are out there that need help."
Right. Right. Exactly. And you from the very beginning, you made it very clear, and this was not an easy decision for you, in
Mm-mm.
that you were not going to charge the veterans
No,
for their dogs,
right,
because, and you kept talking about that there are programs out there, and there was a whole red tape issue and all
oh
sorts of
my
things
God,
there,
yes.
but you were not, even though
Mm-mm.
it was draining, because it drains
Yeah,
anybody that's been there and done that, you understand that, yeah, you do get to that point where
yeah,
you don't know how you're going to continue,
right,
because you only have so much that you can do.
right,
However, if it is something that is really needed, and you have been able to really prove, you have what they call the social proof, you have
right.
been able to put these dogs, go save the dogs. And I remember the
I
stories
know.
of, oh, there's a dog that's in Colorado, we got to go get. And you would be there would be these stories. And then on top of it, back in the day, I don't know if this is still part of your model, but you would also, if there was, like when there was the big storms in Texas, you
Oh,
actually helped with getting items for
yeah.
those
Yeah, we
dogs.
did, and I'll tell you what, that was one of the most. See, I've lived in Texas for so long, off and on, and so when Hurricane Harvey hit, I knew a lot of people there, and it was horrible. It was horrendous, and so we were able to send. I can't tell you how many truckloads, trailer loads of supplies that we were able to send there. And people just showed up at my gate with stuff. I've never seen the compassion and the caring about animals. We sent like 150 crates. We sent blankets. We sent food. We sent people to help, and it was amazing that we were able to do that. And that was totally aside from this.
Right.
It's something you have to do.
Right. Exactly. And that's why I'm pointing this out, is because when there's something that you feel that needs to be done, by golly, you just get out there and start doing it. And
Yeah,
and I get it. That 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, it doesn't stop.
yeah,
However, what you are doing, and I'm thrilled to hear, because I know that when last I visited with you face to face, that you were sharing that you were starting to open up to children and
yeah,
people that had significant issues,
yeah,
that because there were some family members that were coming to you and that
yes,
knew of you and said, would you consider, and it was something you had to strongly think
yeah.
about, and yet
I did.
you decided to go for it. You went
Yeah.
ahead and went for it. Now, let me ask you this: the grant that you got, has
Uh huh.
that helped to get the multiple locations? You mentioned the trainers, but
Yes.
and to be able to open up the
Yes.
ability for you to then serve more people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And again, there's always there's two sayings that always were in, I mean, they're like part of my mantra. It's like, if not me, who?
Right.
When there's something that has to be done. I learned a long time ago, I had a big animal sanctuary in the Woodlands, Texas. And I started knowing then that you have to be very specific. I couldn't just do dog rescue. I did Rottweiler rescue. I did parrot rescue, horses, and iguanas. And people would just tie dogs up to my gate, and that's not good. But I started realizing then, and I have a really big business background as well, that you have to be very specific and you have to know what your goal is.
Right.
And I mean, when something happens here, like we had a terrible fire here 2 years ago, everybody stopped what they were doing and went and helped. We set kennels up. We went and got donations. We walked dogs because the fire destroyed homes. And, I can't help with that, but I can sure help with their animals, keep their animals safe until they
Right.
can go back home. So, whatever we're doing, if something happens and we have to stop what we're doing, that's just what we do. And I
Hmm.
always heard, and I cannot remember who it was that said this, but they said, all that it takes for evil to exist, for good men to do nothing. And
Right.
I
Right.
always,
Yeah.
I always hear people, and even growing up, I would hear people go, "Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and when we retire, blah blah blah." And all of a sudden, I see them years later going, "Gee, I wish we'd have done this. I wish we'd have done that." And I've taken a lot of risk in my life. Quitting my job at IBM to go be a cowgirl. I mean, that was a risk, because I was
Right.
raising my daughter. And I raised a great daughter. She has a big ranch now. She's a horsewoman. I'm so proud of her. But at the same time, really, I mean, I can't tell you that I don't get discouraged sometimes because
Yeah.
things are always going to come up. You got those little speed bumps you got to go over. And I just learned to just go, you know what? I'm going to take care of it.
I love it.
Whatever it takes, we're going to handle it. And that's how we've gotten this far. And I'm really proud of that. I mean, after I had my surgery on my hip, my God, I'm like a gazelle. I've never been so happy in my life to get that done and get that over because that really hampered me, but I still did what I was doing, even though that was hurting. You
Yeah.
can't just stop. It's kind of like, oh, I remember one time I was somewhere and this girl was on the floor looking for something. She was crying, screaming, and I thought, oh my gosh, she's lost the contact. What can we do? She goes, I broke my nail. And I'm going, okay. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying everything has a
Right.
different perspective to somebody.
Right.
A lot of people don't like dogs. I'm totally okay with that. They
Yeah.
don't have to like dogs. Uh, there's things that I don't like either, but I'm so directed in what I'm doing. I guess I don't have time to think about all that stuff.
Right. And I'm going to bring this picture up. It's a while
Oh,
ago, and us at the event where Sherry Watson was recognized, and I believe you were starting to have some of the pain then. You
oh,
wouldn't see it right there, but
yeah,
it was not easy for you to be there, but you were
mm-mm,
there to support our mentor,
yes,
and we were there all together as, up and I mean, nonprofit individuals that were really with a purpose. And I mean, you look at that picture, it's pretty incredible. All three nonprofits represented there
I
are
know.
still, out there, and
Yes,
that's not always an easy thing, because what we're doing is, people think, oh yeah, that's going to be a piece of cake to build a nonprofit, because you get all the tax benefits, you can get donations, you can get sponsors, you can get, this and this and that
yeah,
and this, and it's not always that way, right?
no, it's not. But I'll tell you what, being a member of to me it's like a tribe. Having, John is on my board of directors, and all my board members are they're off everywhere. The Boots Across America, I met her the first time I went to a Power of Purpose seminar. I met her, and she's in Kentucky, and she helps veterans with businesses and their benefits. She and I are still friends. It's amazing how you connect with like-minded people, and there's a power that goes along with that. um,
Yes.
I know that I can always have somebody to call. I know that when I have a board meeting, I've got great ideas. It really is. It's amazing how you, just by your association, I
Hmm.
think we kind of are the people that we surround ourselves with. And to me, that's so important because I look at you, I look at Martha, I look at all the people that I've met, and the people I even meet all the time. Like I was at this huge convention and met some incredible people that are doing similar to what I do. And we're
Hmm.
able to then really bond with each other because we know what we're going through. We know the problems that we run into, and we can always have somebody that we know is going to be there. Even if we don't talk to them, man, I know they're going through the same thing. So it's not just
Right.
me. Yeah.
Right. Right. And that I appreciate. And and I will say this, that of all of our friends that we've made within our nonprofit community and
Mm-hmm.
tribe, I agree with you. And there have been times that when I have needed to reach out, that it just like that name pops into my head.
Mm-hmm.
I contact, and they're like, I was just thinking about you too.
Oh, I
What
know.
is that?
Yeah.
What's that about? What's
Yeah.
up? and
Yeah.
and that's not an uncommon thing when you have like-minded and like-hearted people. And
Right.
yet, yes, the ones that are you look at all of the ones that are still, if you will, going forward with their nonprofits, it's all
Mm-hmm.
people that had some kind of business background or were open to learning about it and going back to school or whatever needed to be
Right.
done, because there is an element of that you cannot, there's no
Yeah.
running away from that. You have to be able to, in many ways, I mean, if anybody's thinking about creating a nonprofit,
Mm-hmm.
definitely you have to have not only your why, but you have to have your why behind the why, because it will test you and tax you
Yes.
to your core. However, I believe, and you've already said, that there's nothing that you can really replace because of what you're doing and how you're touching lives,
Right. Right.
right?
And I even have one of my volunteers. She's been with me. She worked at Sandia Labs, so she has an incredible business background. And she told me the other day, she said, if you ever can't do it, if anything ever happens, don't think this is going to go away because I will step in. And I thought, how amazing is that? Because when I had my surgery, I was in the hospital for a week. I was in bed for
Yeah.
I was still working. I was working in bed. So, but it made me feel so good to know that people care so much about our mission
Right.
that she actually said that she said, you will never have to worry about this ever going away because we're not going to let that happen. It's too important. She stood there and watched people come in and how their lives have changed. And
Hmm.
that's what matters to me.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't even care if nobody knows my name. I know who they are and I see what's happening. And it's just amazing to me. Although, again, they don't let me pick dogs.
No
I,
longer.
I can't go to the shelter. I'm not allowed to go pick dogs because it breaks my heart. They, even though they're very emotional about it, when they go to pick dogs, they look for certain things. And I just go, oh my God, you're so cute. You're lonely. I want to take you home. And so I've got 3 pit bulls at my house. And I mean, they're great. They get along and I love them. My little 80-pound 1-year old pit bull, he sleeps right there at my feet, on my bed. Um, and so I know what these people are going through. And it makes a difference. If you start a nonprofit thinking you're going to get money in, it's going to be a fun, well, you better think again because it's a lot of work. It
Yeah.
is so much work. I work seriously. I work here. I'm very blessed that I have my office. I have a building on my property,
Right.
and we've done a lot of work on our property so that my veterans that don't get around too well, they can bring their dogs here and let their dogs have a play day. It's
Oh,
amazing. Yeah, because
I
I
love
have I
it.
have 3 acres. I mean, it's all separated, divided, and um, you know, I'm so happy I can do that for them because I do have veterans that several that they couldn't go jog with their dog, but the
Yeah.
dogs need exercise, so they can come here, and I've got a beautiful fenced area with toys and everything, and they can come sit in the pagoda and
Mhm.
watch, and it's just wonderful, and I love it.
That's you just said it right there. You love it.
I
You
do.
love it. It is wonderful, and you love it, and you are affecting so many lives, and
Yeah.
the stories, and they continue to come. And I noticed something. I don't know. Do you have an event coming up? Is that your event? You had a flyer on your page. I don't know if you have anything
Oh, I
coming up.
listen. Well, there's events all that we just had an event last week that was at one of the VFW posts. They had respecting our veterans. It was amazing. And then, we just constantly have things, and every time something that we're going to be involved in, we take our dogs to Veterans Court, and that's amazing. We were at Ford Flag Foundation a couple of weeks ago at an event. But what's so cool is we go to Veterans Court, and I'm telling you, they will not leave my dogs alone. It's like I have this one girl, she comes and she lays on the floor with Titan, the big dog. She goes, I know I just totally destroyed a year of training, but I don't care. But I mean, they love our dogs, and it really makes a difference with our veterans that come to court, because being able to see the dogs there, and I'm really thinking about sending a therapy dog there so they can actually pet them and do whatever. And yeah, so there's so many things that we can do as offshoots. But I know myself, in getting too scattered, that doesn't
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
I
Oh.
have to be point
Mhm.
on what I know
Mhm.
I'm doing, and then find other people that want to do that. So I'm getting
Right.
really, see, I worked for IBM for 10 years, so I got that business background, and it
Right.
made me have a lot of integrity in my business. And that's why I said, if you're going to be in business or anything you do in life, you better just be honest and authentic, because if you don't, it's going to come back and get you. Trust
Absolutely,
me.
100%. Amen. At 100%, because the bottom line is this, is that if you really want to make a difference and you
Hmm.
set out to start, you want to be able to finish and make that difference. And if you're not
Yes.
setting it out and you're not doing it in a business way, the odds are very slim, because there are too many people that are not, their mission was never served
Right.
because of the fact that they lost what they were doing
And,
because
I
of
think one of the problems that we've run into as well, besides fake service dogs, I think because this is a very new business type, and the VA does, they only furnish dogs if you're blind or deaf, and they pay
right.
$25,000 for a dog. It's beyond my imagination. But what I learned is I started studying other organizations. I really, when I was a barrel racer, I did the same thing. I knew nothing, and I had this fast horse, and that's my life. I wanted to be a barrel racer. And I started watching the girls that took care of their horses, that were good to everybody, friendly to everybody, would help another girl if she forgot her girth or whatever. And I started putting that into my business too, because if somebody, I have people call me all the time from other states going, how did you do this? What is it? You know, could you help me? Just give me some advice. And I am happy to do it. Why would I not? I mean, I want
Right.
this to be successful everywhere, because
Right.
I have, unfortunately, there are several industries that I think they're just in it for the money, and they are not fair to their people. We had a kid come to our program that they paid $6,500 for a dog, and they had to raise the money. They paid the last payment. They called, they go, oh my God, we're so happy we paid the last payment. When do we get our dog? 2.5 years from now. We have to breed the dog, then raise it, then make sure it's going to be. And I'm just blown away. And I can't do that. That's not, to me, integrity. So we learn how to structure our organization where we don't do that. We're very upfront with our costs. We're upfront with the commitment. And if you're not, and you're all of a sudden, I don't like surprises. I'm not a surprise person.
No,
Um,
neither.
and I know that this is a life changing event in your life. And if you go through a horrible situation like that, it's gonna, taint your your value of even not even wanting to do it.
Right.
So we have just gotten a lot of information, from people that are doing it right, that I admire. I just lay it down for them. And then we've also gotten a lot of good feedback from people that have not done it with integrity.
Mm.
And that, I think that's why we're going to continue on no matter what.
Well, and thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that, because the bottom line is this: anybody that's considering this and is enjoying learning from Bennie Jean as much as I am, is that any kind of business dealings, even if it's not business, even if it's your life, hold yourself up to a higher integrity level, because in doing so, you will be able to be someone that would be trusted, that will be able to, people will be able to call on and say,
Right.
like they are with you, what do you think, how about, and can I ask, and those type of, that kind of generosity of information, Benny Jean, is something that, that's priceless. That is absolutely priceless. And what you are doing and being an example, and you're an example to me, because I've had days, we all have, that it's like, okay, my back's up against the wall. I know that this
Yeah.
is working. We've got the social proof. We've got this going on. However, right now, if we don't pull this rabbit out of the hat, then,
Mm-hmm.
then where are we going to do with that? And
Yeah.
because that's the beginning of the days,
Yes.
beginning, and any business owner, anybody that's done any kind of building of anything
Yeah.
realizes that there are those moments when you're first starting that you got to get through it, then you can do the whole growth. You've been able to get through it. You now have the programs, you have locations, you have so much going on. What's it looking like for you going through the end of the year into next year? What are we going to be able to hear from you?
I think probably we have, like I said, it's so funny to me when I hear people go call me or send me an email and go, "We can help you get so many more clients." This, and I'm going, "Oh my God!" I mean, they're falling out of the sky because there's such a great need. So our big thing is to be able to be very judicious in taking the people that are truly, because we, believe me, we require so much of our people. I mean, we have to have medical, we have to have, I do home visits, I do reference checks. I even have a program on my computer where I can check people's records to see, because I've got a guy now, I had to turn him down because he's had a self inflicted gunshot wound. No, I'm not going to place a dog with him
Yeah.
because my dog's safety is paramount as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that what is happening now is that we're getting very solidified in what we see that's working. You're always going to come up with, well, maybe we need to tweak this or change this. Having a trainer go into to the northern part of the state to train, because for so long I had to tell people, unless you can come down here, I can't help you, and that
Right.
would break my heart.
Right.
So that those things are changing. So I think going into next year, we're going to be applying for more grants because, again, it's a nonprofit, and we're going to be
Right.
able to see us being able to really help more of our people and go into these remote communities where there's nothing. They have nothing, and
Mm.
this is needed so bad. So I think
Yeah.
the educational part of what we do, I would be more than happy to share with other people what we've done, how we've done it, the roadblocks that I've come across, the speed bumps I've had to go across, and to help them understand what the process is to make it come to this point. That's one thing that my heart just is really into. I want to help other people start programs like this in other places because they're needed so bad. I have not found one person in the southern part of this state that will train service dogs. And,
Oh,
and,
wow.
and that's heartbreaking to me, because a dog trainer is not a service dog trainer. It's
No.
just not. You've got to
No.
be so qualified. And I'm so blessed that I'm in partnership with Duke City Dog Academy. And to even work for them, you've got to be like a goddess of dog training. And I've been able to send my trainers to extensive and elevated courses and classes, like hearing. I have a girl that trains our hearing loss dogs. I was able to send her to another class where she could elevate her knowledge there. So this is what I see happening, is just elevating the experience that you have when you come here, and to be able to know that you can always call on us and we'll help you and support you.
I love it. Well, as we close, is there any last words that you would like, any, parting thoughts that you have that you would like to share with people?
You know, I think I've probably said everything I had to say, but I always say, just and I said it earlier, when there's things that need to be done, when there's people that need to be helped, and especially in my genre, I'm not going out trying to save the world anymore. I did that for a while. It didn't work because obviously the world didn't get saved. But if you have a passion, don't let it go by. I mean, don't give up, and don't just say, "Well, I can't do this," or "It's too hard, it's too much," because you're actually denying the world your gift, and that's we can't do it. We just
Yeah.
can't do it. Don't ever be so afraid that you can't take that first step, because there's always people like me that are out there going, "Hey, you can do this," like
Right.
you. Same
Right.
thing for you. There's always going to be that core group of people that it's just kind of like you see Atlas holding the world up on his shoulders. I feel like sometimes I need to be held up, but it is so
Right.
important that don't ever let fear of not being good enough stop you, because look where I am now. I
Right.
mean, really.
Right. Oh, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy for you. And in truth, I'm happy for the people that you're serving, because I know that you're serving so many,
Yeah.
and your capabilities are just incredible. So thank you for being here. And as we close day number 292 of 365 days of awesome, celebrate success through service, Bennie Jean, I want to say thank you so very much for having the soul and the heart and the drive and the intelligence and the honesty that you have, and the time that you've spent with us in sharing your what is happening, and how it is that you're making that happen, because I know that there are going to be some that are going to say, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. I needed to hear those words of wisdom. I needed to see that that was possible. I needed to know that I'm not the only one out there that possibly has felt this way, and there's hope, because in that hope anything can be done.
Yeah. And you
Everything.
and you know what? The very things that you speak and you say are the very things that you need in your own heart. So, when I'm talking about how much this means to me, it just absolutely invigorates me again, and it makes me know that I'm doing the right thing.
I love
And
it.
I,
There you
I
go.
love you, Tamara. I love you
I
so
love
much.
you too, Benny Jean. Big hugs to you, and to your family, including the dogs. Wink, wink. I mean, I love hanging out with them, so I can't
Yeah.
wait to see you again. All right, you have a great evening, and thank you for your time. Bye.
Bless you.
Bye,
Bye bye.
everyone. I will be back tomorrow morning at, wow, I will be back in the morning at 7 a.m.
Okay, well, I'm
Pacific
leaving you
time.
now because I got to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
feed
So,
dogs.
all right. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye,
Bye
hon.
bye.